What is up, everybody? Jay Nell here with my UFC fight night coming from Phoenix, Arizona this Sunday, y'all. And it is starting an hour earlier than normal. So here on the West Coast, it would be 7. It's actually going to be 6. On the East Coast, it would be 9. It's actually going, or excuse me, it'd be 10. It's actually going to be 9. So please look out for that. Now, there are 6 fights on the main card. I'm going to do all 6 fights. I'm going to actually zip through them because I got some things, a lot of stuff to say about the main event. So let's just zip through these picks. First up, I'm choosing Andre Fili to beat Miles Jury. I am choosing, I don't know, I'm blanking all of a sudden, Vicente Luque to beat Brian Barberena. I am choosing Alex Caceres to beat Crone Gracie. I am choosing Cynthia Calvillo to beat Courtney Casey. That's going to be a scrap. I'm also choosing a co-main event. Co-main event, I'm choosing Paul Felder to beat James Vick. They're both coming off losses. I think that's going to be a close fight as well. James Vick is taller, he has longer, and he has a better jiu-jitsu submission game. I'm not sure if he's stronger because Paul does have that wrestling base, and he's coming off quite of a long layoff and an injury. He's going to be rusty. He'll be thicker. Should be a good fight, though, and he's back down to his weight class. His last fight, he actually went up, but I am picking Mr. Paul Felder. Now, main event, and we are seeing the number 3 ranked heavyweight fighter, Mrs. Francis Ngannou, take on Cain Velasquez, the return of Mr. Cain. First, let's talk about the Cain is not ranked. He's been out for a while. I didn't see anything. Francis, of course, like I said, is ranked number 3. Francis Ngannou, of course, he's kind of described as a brawler. He's trained with the boxing first, but not traditional boxing. If you've listened to my videos about him, he frustrates the crap out of me because get a jab, man. I really hope you've been working with somebody, a Klitschko. Get a Klitschko, brother, man. Get somebody, Wilder, somebody, man. A traditional boxer, somebody. Please get a jab. Please get traditional footwork. Please tell me you've been working on that, because with your size, your measurements, he's got a 6-inch reach advantage over Cain, 4 inches with the leg reach, and he has normally about a 5-inch, if not more, reach advantage over all of his opponents. And he is freakishly strong and freakishly athletic, extremely quick, super quick hand speed. So why don't you have a jab? You got quick hands, man. Okay. I hope he, please, Francis. Please work with a traditional boxer, please. Also, please tell me you've been working on your wrestling. As when he lost to Stipe, his corner came out and admitted, we can't get him to wrestle. He doesn't want to wrestle. He thinks he's got it all figured out. He then suffered a lapse in his confidence against the Black Beast. Also, he was fighting with a broken hand, so we saw a lot of things going on with Francis Ngannou there, and I'm hoping he's able to overcome the confidence issues. It seems like it. The last fight against Curtis Blades, he looked like he was back. He looked kind of scary again. It wasn't long enough, though. It ended in the first round, about the first minute and a half. He stunned Curtis very early, dropped him, probably a flash knockout. Curtis was able to get his wits back a little bit, then the ref stopped the fight, and I'm actually, upon looking at it again, I thought it was a good stoppage. He looked great, but it wasn't long enough for us to determine whether he's improved with his boxing, whether he's improved with his wrestling. Curtis is a good wrestler. He was able to stay off the takedown, but if you saw his championship fight with Stipe wasn't able to manhandle him with the wrestling either. He was able to stay off some of those takedowns as well. So, and he stunned Stipe a few times before he actually got to him. So he actually had decent takedown defense. He needs to go further than that, way further than that. You're fighting yet another wrestler here in Cain Velasquez, a better wrestler in my opinion than Stipe Miocic and a Curtis Blades. Stronger, quicker. Let's talk about Mr. Cain Velasquez. Okay, so he's back after 2.5 years. Cain Velasquez is a smaller heavyweight, usually comes in about 235, 240. He's shorter than Francis as well. But him being smaller is part of the reason why his offensive output is probably the highest. He has one of the best gas tanks, if not the best gas tank in the entire division. He puts a pace on you that you will find from a middleweight, a welterweight. He puts him on these big old boys, and he does not let up. His cardio and his offensive output are two of his biggest weapons. We've seen him demolish people who look like they could not be beat. We've seen him get back his win against JDS and take years off JDS's life. Cain Velasquez does so many things right with his wrestling. his mechanics, his leverage. He always seems to be in the right position. Again, he blankets you with offense. He does everything. He's beating you from head, body, toe. He's stomping on the foot. He's trying to cover your breathing. He's trying to, all while he's trying to manhandle you. He has one punch knockout power as well as all the heavyweights do. So this is the hardest test to me for Francis Ngannou, much harder than Stipe Miocic. Now, it all depends on what shape are we going to see Cain Velasquez in. Matter of fact, when's the last time we seen Cain Velasquez? Now that I broke down his skill and everything, let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Cain Velasquez. Now, Cain Velasquez is widely known by lots of commentators and fighters and things like as the baddest man on the planet. Unsung king of the heavyweights. Best heavyweight ever. The GOAT. Not by me. Not by me, and I'll tell you why. I watch a lot of sports shows. I was watching Undisputed. One of the guest speakers there, a football player, I can't remember the name, might have been Damian Woody, I'm not sure. They were talking about the Eagles quarterback controversy possibly between Wentz and Foles, and he said about Wentz, he said the best ability is availability. How are we talking about this boy being an MVP when he hasn't finished a season yet? And that is exactly how I feel about Cain Velasquez. The best ability is availability. Cain has fought 3 times in the last 5 years. His last fight, 2.5 years ago. How are we calling him the greatest heavyweight ever? How are we calling him the GOAT when he can barely string together 2-3 years of activity? He got 9 fights in 9 years. Like, for real, look at the record. I didn't make that up. How are we calling him the GOAT, one of the best careers, when he never fights? And I know you say, oh, Janelle, calm down. He can't help that he gets injured. Yes, he can. This man doesn't get injured all the time in fights. He puts on these spectacular fights. Then he goes back to his harsh training and gets injured in training. Cain gets injured mostly in training. If you guys have been paying attention, you know that. He's been out for 2.5 years because he got hurt and then he got hurt again. Multiple back surgery, shoulders, this and that, the other, from training. Evolve, brother. Evolve. Everybody's evolving. New training techniques. They're not going as hard on their bodies anymore because they want prolonged careers, because they want to fight. They actually want to fight in the octagon instead of just in training. Everybody talks about how he ragdolls people in training. He's amazing in training. He's whooping everybody up in training. I don't care about what he does in training. I'm supposed to call him the GOAT off of training? Evolve, brother. Even Nova Ewell, where Jose and them train, they've evolved. They no longer have real fights during training every day. They no longer put their bodies through that. They evolved. Hua and all them, they evolved. What are you doing that is hurting you and not hurting DC? DC, man, and DC really is your boy, man. He really is. He's pumping you every chance he gets. He's covering for you every chance he gets. I mean, he's been helping me for the last 3 years. He's been helping me. He's been hurt, DC. But here's the thing. You and DC do the same crazy training regimen, yet DC's been an active fighter this whole time. So that means the training works for DC, but it's not working for you, bro. So part of the reason why we haven't seen you fight in so long is because of you. Your refusal to evolve and try new things is the same frustrations that I have with Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz be doing all kinds of new age techniques and movements and trying all this mess. Do some more research before you try something new, Dominic, so you're not gone for 3-4 years. Take some responsibility over your own body. Take real care over your own body. Okay, so part of that is your fault. All right? So again, the best ability is availability. And seeing as how Cain Velasquez doesn't fight often, barely fights at all, I can't call him the GOAT. And I'm also he kind of irks me a bit when people talk about it, because I feel like Cain has robbed us of potentially 2 amazing heavyweight careers. First, his own. Like I said, evolve, brother. We want to see you in the octagon, in the ring. We don't want to just hear about how amazing you are in training. Maybe you wouldn't be hurt this often so much if you had taken the chance to evolve, do more research, try something new. So I feel like you've robbed us of what your career could have potentially been, which may have very well been the GOAT. But I can't call you that at this point. Also, I feel like you robbed us of the potential amazing heavyweight career of your boy, DC, the current heavyweight champion. As we all know, when DC came to the UFC, he dropped down to light heavyweight because he didn't want to fight Cain. Cain is his best friend. DC's never lost a round as a heavyweight. Many of us, myself included, kind of feel that DC might be better than Cain. Kind of feel like, just think about this. Cain's been out for 2.5 years. What if DC became the champ 2.5 years ago and then just dropped that belt like he has now and has been the heavyweight champ for this whole time? He's the one that breaks that heavyweight title defense record and some, pushes it out of reach. DC could have potentially been the greatest heavyweight we've ever seen. But no, Cain's my boy. So DC steps out of your division, doesn't give us that potentially. And if you think about it, DC stayed a heavyweight, he would have no losses. He'd have no losses. Potentially. We don't know. So DC put that potential flawless career. He put that to the side for you. And you fought 3 times in the last 5 years. Come on, bro. Come on. I'm done. Now look. Cain Velasquez is 36 years old. Now, as we know, the average fighter's prime is about 27 to about 33, except the heavyweight division. For some reason, the heavyweights mature later. They start their prime in their early 30s. For me, I think it's part of that weight they carry. Look at the room they have. Heavyweight starts at 206, 266. That's 60 pounds there. Look at all those different body types you have there. And then you'll pick up new skills. Your body changes again. I feel like because they have such a big gap, it takes them more time to find the right body type and frame that works best for them. Plus, we know in the heavyweight division, we know speed's one of the first things to go. Speed is not an essential aspect of becoming a really good heavyweight fighter. Power is the last thing to go. They all have one-punch knockout power. So unlike like the flyweight, featherweights, once they lose their speed, it's extremely hard for them to be a successful fighter. It's not the same with the heavyweight division. So I think that's kind of why it lasts a little bit longer too. But because of all of that, Cain being 36, he still has the chance to fulfill what we all think he might be, or what you guys all think he might be, or what y'all have seen in the gym. At 36, he can still be that. But seeing as how he can't seem to string together 2 years of activity, I'm not banking on it. And even though I feel like on paper he should win hands down, I'm picking Francis. I'm picking the one who fights. I'm picking the one that I can count on to be there in 3 months, 4 months. Counting on the one who I can actually watch perform. And that's all there is to it. And if Cain wins, then what, is DC just going to drop the heavyweight title because he doesn't want to fight his boy? I'm done. 2 careers I feel like you robbed me of, bruh. So I'm picking Francis Ngannou. Prove me wrong. Be the great we think you are. From 36 on, let's see it. Let me know your picks, your injury updates, and please let me know what you feel about this whole heavyweight situation, Cain Velasquez situation, what's gonna happen, how you feel about him. Do you think he's the greatest? Do you think he's earned to be called the greatest? Let me know. Just let me know. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where I will have 15-second recaps and prediction videos. I'm on Snapchat now. Talk to me, take care, and goodbye. Oh, wait, subscribe. Talk to me, take care. Goodbye.